What's up, guys? It's Taylor with You Ain't Stuck. We're on the You Ain't Stuck podcast.
Time out. Time out. I gotta go hit my bike. Hang on. I'm sorry.
Well, anyways,
I'm sorry.
after the technical difficulties,
I just had a whole can.
yeah, I threw it at you.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did. I flipped it
There it is.
right there. I told you.
I
did this right here.
All right. Okay. All right. You want me to start over or what?
Nope, scene two, ready or not. It's Taylor with You Ain't Stuck podcast. We got Gabe, don't know how to say his last name, so we just call him Baby Ski. We'll get into that a little bit later why we call him Baby Ski. But I'm going to let Gabe kind of take over for 2 seconds, and Neil's about to knock over the camera. And then I'm going to let Gabe kind of introduce himself and explain anything he wants to explain about himself.
So, hey guys, I'm Gabriel Jastzabski, and I'm a current freshman at Campbell University. I'm going for nursing. That's my major, and I'm doing college ROTC as well, trying to pursue a career as an Army officer once I graduate and be in the nursing corps in the United States Army. I'm 19 years old, and I've been living in Sanford my whole life, and kind of starting off school and kind of getting into the life after high school, getting used to it.
So we call him Baby Ski because we also can't pronounce his dad's name, and his dad works with a few of us. So we call him Ski. And what? It's the truth, is it not? How many times he come home and be like, man, they can't say our last name.
Yeah.
But anyways, I've known his dad for 10 years. Known him for, so how long you been out of high school?
About a year.
About a year, so that would be about 5 years or so, because I worked at a school about every year you were there. At the high school, we have a separate little gig where I would sit out there and do some things, do like security, and we watch, make sure the kids ain't skipping and leaving and doing what they're not supposed to be doing. That's actually how I met Gabe. I knew him the whole 10 years because dad come to work and be like, look at my son, he's doing this or doing that. But didn't officially meet him until he got into high school. And I think it was when you were a senior that you kind of walked up that one day.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just sitting out there. Me and Neil had probably done, Neil and Malcolm at that time had already done, I don't know, 50 videos or something and put them out. And Gabe's like, man, I love your videos, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, just sitting there like, roll down the window a little bit more. And I'm like, why don't you do a video? And he's like, what? I was like, yeah, man, just do a video, send it to me, I'll post it. I got to call your dad first because, you ain't 18, but we'll figure that out later. But talked to his dad. He was fully about it. He was like, yeah, if Gabe wants to, he can. If not, he don't have to. But just time restrictions, you doing ROTC back then in high school too. Everything we had going on was just like, weren't able to really do much. So we also didn't have the podcast because Neil was dragging his feet. But we got it up and rolling now. So his dad, like I said, his dad is kind of cool trying to drive over here and think about what to say. Your dad actually used to have the job that I'm in now. So I always thought that was kind of cool. Whenever we look back through stuff, we can kind of see some of the stuff when he was doing what I was doing. And I see his name or see like he ordered this or did that. So I always thought that was really cool. So you said you're going to Campbell right now?
Yes, sir.
So that's what, 45 minutes, depending on where you live in?
Yeah, from my house it's like 45. I mean, from here it might be like
3 hours.
Even close, like 25 minutes. It's really close.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah.
Right up the road.
Yeah. He So doing ROTC, so did you want to go to college and do ROTC, or was that like a plan, or you just kind of seen it and fell?
So I kind of I did JRTC in high school, and I kind of I didn't do it my senior year because I was trying to take some college classes to to where I could transfer in a little bit with a less class load than this year and next year.
Smart thing to do, kids, by the way.
That's very. And then ROTC, like I was applied for in JRTC. I had my instructor. He really helped me get to know what inspired to do the Army things. And there was an opportunity for a national ROTC scholarship, which I applied for, and I actually got it, and I got a 3-year national college ROTC scholarship. to go and do both, trying to get a college degree and becoming an Army officer at the same time. So I was awarded that. So it will start in August of this year. My scholarship, which is a pretty good scholarship. You get your room and board paid for and your tuition paid for, and on top of that, you get like a $400 a month stipend to use during the school months, so the 9 months out of the year. And then so that was very blessed to get that scholarship, and be able to do both, because it's one thing to graduate from college, but to be able to graduate and say you're a commissioned United States Army is a whole another level of different. Like, you're able to do either or. If you want to do military when you get out, you're able to do that, and you're able to have a really good aspect of being. You're not like you're gonna start as soon as you start your career in the Army. You're gonna be leading 30 to 40 people
Mm-hmm.
in a platoon. You're starting off leading. You're gonna be planning everything, planning what they do for PT, how they do, um, trying to get their PT scores up so they can be ready for whatever the mission is, and kind of being able to impact them and give them that type of, I would say, kind of motivation, and kind of like the ability to kind of what their reason is, like improve what their reason is, and be able to kind of coach younger soldiers in a way that you're going to be able to start off as that and be able to go ahead and already have an impact on people. So and then nursing for me, it was kind of two and two, because it's like I really wanted to do Army, and nursing
Mm-hmm.
is really cool as well, because my grandma is a nurse. She retired a couple of years ago, but she was a nurse her whole life, and she was able to see the benefits of being a nurse all throughout her
Mm-hmm.
career. Um, and a big thing for me is I'm one of those people who rather work like 3 12-hour shifts and have the other days to just, because it's like you get a good life balance. Like, it's so you have,
Mm-hmm.
because one day I'm gonna have a family, and I want to be able to spend time with them, especially when they're younger too, because you only get the opportunity once, and being able to have a good job and a good career and a good, like, be able to make good money to enjoy and spend time with them, because you want to be able to do stuff with them and be able to give them the experience, an even better experience than you had as a kid.
So what about like basic? Do you have to go like you're gonna finish college, and then if you choose to go into the army, you would have to go to basic, or how does that work?
So on the officer side, as going for RTC, I will go to. You're supposed to go for nursing. It's a little different, because they let you go. You skip a level of RTC, so like
Mm-hmm.
you're supposed to take it all 4 years. You skip a level, so next year I'll be going to the level that would. They do it by MS levels, military science levels, and like military science 1 through 4. And usually, most people go to their basic camp there after their junior year, so into
Mm-hmm.
their don't right before their senior year. They go that summer to, it's called CST, Cadet Summer Training, and that's the officer basic training basically. So you do the gas chamber, you do a land navigation, and it's basically held at Fort Knox, Kentucky, which is the cadet command where the RTC headquarters is basically. And you're going to do all that, and you're going to get tested on how you can lead a squad, doing tactical things like conducting a raid, an ambush, or kind of just getting like a recon mission, any type of that. You're going to be getting graded on during being in a squad and doing that and leading the squad, and you're going to get graded as being a platoon, like in a platoon, like even a bigger setting of people. You're going to get graded on that. So that's kind of the basic for officers. But technically, I will go next summer. I will go to that, because I'm going to be, once I get into nursing program, you kind of back away from RTC a little bit, and you
Mm-hmm.
just kind of they let you focus on nursing a lot. So getting the first 2 years, I'm not in the nursing program, getting most of the hard RTC stuff done with.
Well, that sounds like a real, not I don't want to say like expensive, but that sounds like a really big scholarship. Did you have to do something like sports? I know like you didn't just go into RTC and they just be like, here, give it to you. What did you have to do to like check off the boxes to get that sponsor or that scholarship?
So I had to do a PT test,
Mm-hmm.
which was just a basic how many push-ups you can get in a minute, how many sit-ups in a minute, and then a mile run.
Mm-hmm. You're
So
making my legs hurt already on that.
um, yeah, I definitely did. Like, I ate a protein shake before I did the run, and I ended up throwing it all in the bathroom at the
Oh
school.
yeah.
So the guy was like, lucky the guy didn't see me do that, but Because I worked hard for it. I worked hard to the test, and that's what you want when you that's your limits if you're throwing up after. So
Man, you just gotta keep pushing, keep
yeah,
going afterwards.
basically.
Man.
And then so that was a little portion of it. Part of it is your ACT and SAT scores. They want some of those. So those junior year big tests that you take to get into colleges and things like that. Then your GPA is very important. Those are one of the big things. So your grade point average in high school. So really digging into the books and doing good. And then another big part of it is they have a thing called a PMS interview, which is basically the lieutenant colonel who's in charge of ROTC programs at each school. So you go to one of these schools, universities, and you go to the PMS, and the PMS, the lieutenant colonel, gives you an interview saying like, why do you want to join ROTC? What does an officer mean to you? What else? What are your motives of being a United States officer and going to do ROTC? That's a big portion of it. That and your GPA is the biggest thing that they look at. And on top of that, I had to get recommendation letters as well. I had to get so that was kind of help. It was kind of easier when you have done JRTC because you have people who are actually been in the military, and you can those are recommendation letters. I know I got one from one lieutenant colonel, one sergeant major, and then another full bird colonel. So I had those are very handy. Like basically, kind of knowing doing good all those years to boost your like ability to get like kind of I would say kind of boost your like what's your personal like your value is what they see you as like doing good over the years like it's that scholarship is not just like oh because I applied it's because of years of constantly like looking sharp looking better looking doing what was good and not it was more of like it's a sum of all the years not just that senior year applying for it um and then you had to write a couple of like an essay on one of them
Okay.
and things like that. But there's, it's a lot of people they're slowly going away with it because they're, uh, Army's commissioning too many lieutenants, so they're kind of going away from the scholarships a little bit. But they have 3 rounds of it each year. One in October, one in January, and one in March. And each year, if you don't get selected in that round, they push it back. It's based on order of merit, like what they think is best, who's the best of the best gets picked first, and
Right.
they have a 4 year, a 3 year, and a 2 year scholarships of Army ROTC.
And you got the 4, you said?
I got a 3 year.
3 year?
Mm-hmm.
So how many years do you have to so on the nursing side, do you have to do a full nursing, a whole college nursing stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it more geared like you're going to be a nurse in the Army, so they're going to make it Army style?
So it's basically, I do everything a normal nursing student would at going to university. You're just the only difference is you're doing, RTC your first year is really basic. It's only like one class for 50 minutes, and it's only worth 1 credit hour. So it's, but it increasingly gets higher. The more you go up, it's worth more credits. But basically, you're doing RTC is basically at Campbell at least. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday doing PT from 6 to 7 in the morning, and then on Thursdays doing a lab, which is the tactical side of it, from 4 to 5:30. So that's really what RTC is, just those 3 days, and it allows you. That's the big difference between going to like the service academies like West Point and like these big ones that they have their advantages when it comes to they're like you're gonna get to meet the president as well, like when you commission, shake his hand, and and they pay for all your college at West Point. But the difference is like you get the best of both worlds going to RTC because you're able to get the military experience, get advice from civilian, professors and military professors that are there, and you're able to live the college life if you would like, you know, you don't have to get up early at 5 o'clock every day. It's just those 3 days out of the week, and then you can join like clubs, whatever you want to do at colleges, and it gives you the best of both worlds a little bit.
So did you pick Campbell, or is that where the scholarship was at?
So I actually got you have when you apply for the scholarship, you have to select the schools you're planning to go to based on your major. So, my 3 schools that I got into that I applied for were the Citadel in South Carolina, Campbell, and then UNCG. Those are my
Okay.
three. And what really won me over is the scholarship. Originally, it only covers tuition, or
Right.
tuition or room and board. You get to choose. But with Campbell, they have a special agreement where if the army pays for the tuition, they will cover your room and board. So the actual school covers room and board. So that's why it's like kind of like a full ride on those 3 years because of Campbell specifically. So that's one of the things that they drive people to go to Campbell with is that they're like, oh, if you got this army, if your tuition's paid for by the army, we're gonna reciprocate that and pay the room and board so you can live there and basically get the full ride.
You got a roommate, or is it just you?
So my first year, this year, I got very lucky because my roommate never showed up.
Oh,
So I
okay,
got
sweet. Yeah,
a full
gotta
room to
love that.
myself. Yeah.
That's a blessing right there.
Mhm.
So is it so you're on campus?
Mhm.
Um, okay. So you gotta love being able to just 45 minutes or 40 minutes back just to come home on the weekends and stuff. You gotta Is that kind of why you really pick Campbell, or is it more all the stuff that you just said?
I mean, I would say that's a bonus, but I say the big reason is not being able to go to school and not have debt because
Mm-hmm.
like I could have went to Citadel, which is strictly just a military college in Charleston. So it's like a near the beach. Like I love the beach. So that's where I would want to go, but they're only going to pay 3 years of it, and it's very expensive going out of state. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to weigh out like might be years of it might be nice to go to the beach, but also like it'd be nice to get out of college and be able to start my life from a clean slate that most people don't start getting out of college with. They usually have some type of form of student debt. To be able to not have that is a big thing, but also kind of it is nice because in a way, like Campbell, the way the school is designed is like it's kind of like there's not really a lot of stuff to do that I find, like kind of like it's not like a normal like let's say like NC State where it's in Raleigh and there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things to do. Like it's kind of like Campbell's the biggest thing in Lincoln that there is to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the big sightseer attractor. So for me, to be 45, 50 minutes away, that allows for me to go home on the weekends, see family, and kind of like, for me, it's really good because I do go home a lot, especially being like, I know a lot of freshmen go home a lot because they're still getting used to it. But like, for me, it's kind of like when you go back home, you realize like, what's my reason for going to college? Because like you go back and you're like, I'm happy where I'm at. I'm happy I'm doing good for myself, going to school, and it kind of gets your head straight. Because sometimes the grind during college can get a little rough. So going back home and kind of resetting gets you that mindset to go back once you get back to campus to keep continuing the grind and keep pushing forward.
So going back, like way back, when did the Lord kind of come into your heart? When did you kind of meet Him? Because you know, having seen you growing up through high school and stuff, how much you actually love Jesus and kind of do what we do to your peers by speaking and saying stuff. At what age or where did that come into your life?
So I would say probably around 15 to 16 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've always went to church with my family, but it's never been like that close that you develop on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would say it was probably my sophomore year of college. I mean, of high school was where I had the biggest because I got my license, and my family always went to church, but like we would go to church like at least 2 Sundays out of the month.
Mm-hmm.
So
Because
not
of the schedule.
so we
Yeah.
would, and so it wasn't as much, but when I turned 16, my family we never went to Sunday school.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday school was a big thing because sometimes I feel like Sunday school you kind of understand it more than you do the actual preaching. At least what I from my understand because it's like you are there with like at our church like you do a surrounding it's like a big group table and you're all just you talk about it with other Christians here and it's a back and forth conversation. It's not listening to just the preacher
Mm-hmm.
preach. It's good conversation about everyday like Christian like what's going on being a Christian, what's it like being a Christian. And for me, I went to Sunday school. I started off going by myself, so it was a little nerve wracking because it's like going to church
Yeah.
earlier, an hour early,
Nervous. Yeah.
and
Have to get up
nervous.
early.
And it was kind of like sitting like um it's different when you go with your family to church because it's like you have people. It's better. It's different. It's better going with someone to church than going
Mm-hmm.
by yourself because it's like feel like you have someone there that's beside you, and you don't feel like so out of like I wouldn't say out of place, but like it's someone for backup a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and so being able to I first started going by myself, and it was a little really nervous. And then my mom started going, and then my dad started going to Sunday school and everything. So we all started going to Sunday school. And then my junior year, so we started everything. We started going more often to church, like going like 3 to 4 times, almost every Sunday basically, except for one, maybe like one here and now, like we would miss. But my junior year, I decided to be my church's Sunday school's assistant superintendent. So I was able to start off right when we all walked in to do Sunday school. I was the person who greeted everyone and led by saying a little prayer and like what a devotion or things like that to get everyone started off before we split into our groups, like age groups, to go and do Sunday school. So I took on that leadership role at the church for about a year, and then my mom also started teaching as a Sunday school teacher as well during my junior year.
Same class, or y'all had like
Mhm.
different age groups and stuff? Or?
So there's at my church there's like a like an older like 50 and above, I would say. And really you don't have to choose, like you can choose which one you want to go to.
Yeah,
So
anybody can go anywhere pretty much. Yeah.
so it would kind of be like anybody under like 50 and younger would go to the one group, and then everyone 50 and above would go to the older group, I guess. So my mom started teaching the younger group, the under 50, and we all kind of she started teaching it, and it made it more like we're going more and more often and things like that. And then my senior year comes around, and my mom's like, she gets I would say it's the session. That's what they call it. And it's like she was like became like it's not a deacon. I don't think it's called, but it's like a bigger church role in the church, and she was able to do that and be a bigger impact on the church. And I've just seen that's kind of what brought me the most. I would feel like is my sophomore year is choosing to go because I made the decision. It's like I made the decision to do it, and it feels a lot more better in your heart when you know like you actually made the decision. It's not like there's a lot of people who go to church because their family, they born into a Christian home, and it's like your passion for God becomes more of kind of like it's not about a lot of people like the way I've always seen God is kind of like more of like the loving God than more of the hell and like brimstone kind of like that, because I feel like if you have to know Jesus before you can know like the Father. So it's like that's a big thing for me is like knowing love, and when you get to know his love more, you stop doing the sinning, all those other things that you do, you stop doing it and you start to focus on Jesus more, which actually improves all overall your whole entire life. And over those years, between those years, I've seen my dad become more like go to church more often, grow in his faith, and everyone in my family like it was kind of like a revival, I guess, for all of my entire family a little bit. My grandma, she hadn't went to our church in years, and she started going again. Like it was kind of a revival for my immediate family and things like that to go to church, and it was really nice. And it's kind of nice that we all played a little part in it. Like everyone, going and being with people that being with someone at church makes a huge difference compared to just going, kind of by yourself.
What motivates somebody your age or at that age to like do all that you're doing? Because not putting anything down, not your generation or anything, but like a lot of people are more lazy or just not wanting to do things, and it seems like you got regular school, you got the ROTC, so I know that takes up time after school and during everything. So it just seems like you're very highly motivated to constantly be busy and doing things. Where did that kind of come from?
I would say, I would say most of my motivation and things like I live by the golden rule of like the biggest privilege that I had as a kid living in America. In my situation is my parents, the way they raised me, and the fact that the biggest privilege you can have in your life is having both parents in the home, and parents who are being a parent is not making everything seem, and it's not just being there for the good times. It's the times when your kid's getting bullied in school or
Mm-hmm.
things like that, or whatever it may be, like kids didn't pass a test on it. Like it's being there for the rough times just as much as it is the good times. So
Mm-hmm.
like kind of appreciating the fact that like I would say they raised me to be like my dad, I remember my dad worked 2 or 3 jobs when he was younger to support my family when we first started off. And,
Mm-hmm.
my mom, she works a lot too. So like having that work ethic involved too makes it a lot. You see from them and you grow from them and you see and you want to do like them because that's what they trained you. And that's kind of being my biggest thing is like that whole word of like the biggest privilege you can have in life is having 2 parents in the home and parents that, lead with work ethic and love and just they want you to do better than they did. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a good way to live by for me. And it's just been amazing to have parents like that. Like that's the biggest shout out because you don't really realize that till
When
you
you're
get
going
older.
through it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And your dad's like the chillest. Like we've had some sketchy situations at work. I was probably on his shift, or because I kind of worked like a mid shift thing, and I was kind of probably worked with him for off and on 4 or 5 years for sure. And then at the beginning, he was on the opposite side when I first started. So about give or take 10 and a half years ago, he was on the opposite side, but still we get to see him in passing, and then actually was going to calls or something with him, and being able to see him where everybody else is either mad or angry or upset, and he's just like, well, we're going to do this, and like be able to keep his composure and stuff. So that's awesome to see that it kind of just embedded right into you.
Mm-hmm.
So as I cut off the power. But yeah, I mean that's awesome. Are you having do you get to do anything at Campbell? Is there like some Bible studies or anything, or are you like highly focused on schooling and figuring out all the stuff? Because I know nursing school is not easy at all. Like I wouldn't say I don't think there's a class that's probably easy.
Yeah, I've
So
there are Bible study things they have. I haven't got into it yet personally. I know I want to try to do that next year a little bit more.
mm-hmm,
It's just I've been still getting used to the college life, like what I need to do to make the grades I need to make, and
mm-hmm,
it's a big pressure because it's like, you're spending a lot of money going to college, and it's you want to do good, and I'm a really personally me, I worry a lot, which is
mm-hmm,
one of my biggest weaknesses that I know I need to work on and continue to work on, but I worry a lot and I try to do the best I can. So I'm trying to get more into it probably next year. Um, it's just that's been one of my things. But I've been making kind of trying to make friends and stuff at school. So
mm-hmm.
that's been a real blessing because when you go to school and it's very scary. My first day, getting dropped off by my parents is very, very scary because it's like,
Don't know a soul.
yeah,
Don't know nobody out
and your whole life is changing. Like it's a
there.
whole
Mm-hmm,
different chapter after high school when you go to whatever you do, whether it's straight work after high school or going to college or whatever it may be, military. It's a different life because your old life has kind of gone away, and you're doing what you need to do, growing up and becoming a man in that sense of trying to find your way in the world.
mm-hmm. So is there so I'm assuming you've made some friends and
Mm-hmm.
stuff and started hanging out. Do they like peer pressure you with any of the bad side of college, or is it more? I mean, I
You
know
gonna get that
Cam.
young in trouble with his
We
mom and daddy.
can cut it out. Don't worry about it, Steve.
I will say
Your dad did not tell me that.
I will say that um, there definitely is uh and I'm being realistic. If I'm being honest, like there's opportunities that you can do bad stuff at college. There's
Mm-hmm.
very opportunities for it. Um, I wouldn't say I've been pressured because I've definitely been offered, to do
Mm-hmm.
like whatever it may be, like drinking or but I've always said no, and
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really been peer pressured. They've like offered, but it wasn't like I think it was more of them just like if they do it, there was more of like hospitality to offer you, But like, I've trying to surround myself with friends who are kind of want you to do better, and the people
Mm-hmm.
who want you to do better, friends wise, will tell you they won't offer you that because they know you want to they
Mm-hmm.
want to do good for you, like they want you to do good.
They
So.
know what you're into or what you're
Mhm.
about, so they already. That's awesome. So what the point of that was not to get you in trouble or anything, but just to kind of show somebody at your age, because a lot of people when they get in trouble or something, they're like, "Well, everybody's doing it," or "So and so told me," or "I was offered." Well, we kind of all go through that. I mean, we all get offered. We all have the same exact opportunity sometimes when it comes to people trying to peer pressure you, and that's where. Like I was just always the bigger kind of goofy kid, so I was wrestling, football. I went down that path, did all that, and I mean, that always came up, and I'm like, I got stuff to do, y'all. I got a
Mm-hmm.
'71 Camaro, which back then was old. So now it's like ancient. And I'm like, I got to go home and work on this, or, we got this
Mm-hmm.
going on, or I'm trying to go to the pool in the morning. I ain't got time to deal with y'all till midnight, stuff like that. So, but that's awesome that, you're kind of somewhat similar in that aspect of, yeah, that ain't what I do, and I'm here for that. Is there, a lot of other males that you're seeing kind of going into the nursing field, or like, is it more just you?
It's mostly females, but there's a couple of males. It's just you have to like. I think that the big thing is you have to like, not just because it's like you have to realize like, oh, like that's an advantage maybe in a way
Mm-hmm.
is going in because they like you're like they need male nurses and
Mm-hmm.
you kind of get to see people's backgrounds differently. Being different, the different sex, like you get to see people's different backgrounds and what they're struggling with as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I guess being in college and doing nursing as well, and um, it kind of just goes back to trying to find your where you're supposed to be at, like where you're supposed to be at. Like, and that's a big thing with Campbell. I know is they're all about purpose. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what's your purpose? Because that's a very huge thing. I feel like is knowing. I talk about I'm a warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Like being with school is you have to kind of like you got to learn to like. I'm still working on it, but some things I feel like sometimes people say they trust God, but in the back of the head, like sometimes everyone, and it's okay not to trust God. Sometimes, like that's part of the process of growing in the faith and doing that is because you're experiencing like there's obviously some troubles that people go through, and it's not going to be easy. That's why
Mm-hmm.
it's hard. That's why they talk about like if you just have a little bit of like a mustard seed of faith that you will, that it will move mountains, is because it's hard to get that little bit of faith. It is when you're trusting God over something really big in your life, and
Mm-hmm.
I would say that's very important being in college and doing that is just trusting that he has that if he don't want you here, he's gonna make a way. And as long as if you give God something to work with, he's gonna bless you. So if you work, not saying slack off and not do anything, but I'm saying if you work hard, do it, put your head down, grind. That God will, if you're working for it, he's gonna bless you no matter what. It might not be the way that we want to see it, but he will. And just kind of keep your head up in that way and trying to think about like what your purpose is, like what is God, not purpose like in life, but what does God want me to do here while I'm at Campbell. It might not be all about school, like just it's not. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's about growing, and that's part of college is exploring more and like learning not just what the books say, but like meeting new people, developing a better version of yourself that
Mm-hmm.
is able to go post graduation and make a difference in the world. That's kind of what I see college is like you're able to adapt both visions of it. And that's part of the reason why I kind of wanted nursing as well, is because, I've been working since I was probably 15 years old, at
Mm-hmm.
Chick-fil-A and
Mm-hmm.
working hard, saved money to buy my first car and all of that. So kind of, I don't know if I would say it's blue collar, but, like, that's why I like nursing because it's like I feel like I can get the both kind of the white collar version of it, not super, super hard, but also like the long hours is the blue collar version of it. So it
Mm-hmm.
kind of gives you a best of both worlds, being able to get, be a hard, like be blue collar and white collar at the same time. So that's kind of why I wanted to do nursing as well, is it gives me best of both worlds and I can be able to keep a part of me that's always been like that because like when I was in high school, I would work like 30, like my last 2 years, I worked 30, 40 hours a week. My last two, while in school, my last 2 years of high school, because I was just trying to save money for my pay off my car and do things like that. And it kind of gave me that blue collar mindset. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a very driven mindset as well, which is really good. So it kind of carried over into how I look at school now and trying to do good in school because I want to do good. I want to be able to to accomplish the mission of going to school and doing what I need to do and make people back at home proud.
So you're saying you're talking about the nervous stuff? Is it like testing that you get nervous about, or is it like I get nervous like I'm gonna be late, so I'm always early to everything except for today. But stuff like that, like what do you mean like the nerves? Like what exactly? You just get worried about like taking this test, or is it like I'm not doing good here, or not doing like what exactly are you
I would
talking
say
about?
probably the tests and
Mm-hmm.
just overall in the classes because
Mm-hmm.
I know for nursing you have to like to get accepted into nursing program you got to have really good grades
Mm-hmm.
and the tests are definitely like I've been a pretty good person of myself of like getting up and get ready like by myself. I've been doing that for a couple of years, working and things like that. And that wasn't really the hardest. I think the hardest part is just for me is worried that like, oh, I'm not ever doing enough because I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty hard on myself as it is. Like I expect myself to be the best of the best, which is not
Mm-hmm.
always the best mindset because you got to give yourself grace and
A break. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. You gotta take a
So
breather every now and then.
yeah, so I mean that's my biggest struggle is the tests and things like that because nursing is a nurse like the nursing prereqs and things like that is mostly heavily tested. Like it's worth the tests are worth most of your grade in college. It feels like, and you're trying to do good and you want to do what you're meant to do there, like do good in school, but also like that's just my biggest thing is I'm worried because I'm like, oh, if I never tried my best, like what is my best? Because me trying hard to other people is their best. But like I'm just saying, like for me, I pride myself on doing not just doing what I need to do, but doing better.
Not getting a B, but making sure you're knocking out those A's and getting
Mm-hmm.
it. Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's like almost a motivation for you in the back end of your back of your head of, well, I'm worried about this, but it's making you, get up earlier, get up and actually do the work, not stay out late, not, go to the gym for an extra hour or something
Mm-hmm.
crazy when I got a test in the morning, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
What about like just normal college kid life? So you said you don't have any 8 to 10 a.m. classes?
I do. My first semester, I was really dumb because I put the day we didn't have PT, I had 8 a.m. So the day I didn't have to wake up at 5 in the morning, I had to wake up at 7, which is it's okay, but you want to sleep in a little bit, especially after those days of being
Mm-hmm.
waking up those early hours. But this year I made where I don't have the earliest class I have is a 9 a.m. on Wednesdays. So it's not bad. And 9 a.m.s are not bad. So just those 8 a.m.s I learned are not. And it might be different if I was commuting because, you have an initiative to get your classes done and get there and get done so you can
Yeah.
go home. But being on campus, if I'm there, it's like it's not really having an early class is not doing any benefit other than just waking up early and being done. So
Well, that's awesome, man. It sounds like you're having a ball and just getting it done, though.
mm-hmm.
It's just awesome to see, your dad's work ethic and everything, and then get to hear and kind of see yours, either through social media or word of mouth, or getting talked to you every now and again when you're actually back home. So, that's a huge blessing, huge everything. That's awesome. So, have you made up your mind on if you're gonna commit and go to the army stuff, or are you still like back and forth with that?
Yes. So with the scholarship as well, I will contract this summer if everything goes well. This summer, like in June, or if I have to get approval from the or to early contract from
Mm-hmm.
the colonel. But if I don't get early, I have a contract in August. That's when my scholarship starts.
And a contract with the army, I'm assuming is what
Mm-hmm.
you're saying. Okay.
So for them to pay my college, I have to commit to 8 years in the army after I graduate. So 4 years of those will be active, and then the other 4 can be if I want to do active duty or reserve. So I've been wanting to do army ever since I got into JRTC. So I've been wanting to do active duty, and I'm really looking for. I really want to get deployed. I'm not deployed, but I want to get stationed in Hawaii. That's really where I want to get stationed, so I can.
It's like $20 milk out there or something. Ain't it?
Yeah,
So, my-
yeah, it's nice
but
though.
that would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So,
$20 milk.
why don't you Google it while you just sitting over there?
I'm about to Google it.
Google it. Let us know.
No way it's $20.
Then look up how much Spam and Reese's are too. Shout out
In
Adam
Hawaii.
Sadler. I'm telling you. I'm
There's no trucks. It's
the
roads.
real price that I've heard is $12 a gallon of milk, not gas. I don't even think
I don't know how to spell Hawaii.
with an H.
Hawaii right now.
Do speak the text.
But I don't know how to do that.
Hit the speakerphone button.
Between $6 and $9.
That's still
It
high,
ain't
but
no $20.
that's still high, bud. I buy 2 gallons of milk every time. I buy 2 gallons of milk.
I was like, ain't no way it's $20. Anyway,
that's still
proceed.
that is still high to me because you can go to Dollar General and get it for $1.69 right now. Yeah, that would be really cool though to go. Because how long would you be there? You'd be there for like 4 years, right? Pretty much.
It just depends wherever the Army would
sends you. Okay. So so you said how many years are you're 2 years in or college?
I'm a year in.
Year
so this
in?
will be after I finished in like 6 weeks, so that will be a year.
And then you go. How long do you get for like a break? Regular summer?
It's pretty long. I mean, we're out of my last exam is before even May starts, and I'm out till August 20th. So
yeah, that's a good break.
Very good.
You can fly to Hawaii and come back.
Yeah.
We need you to go to Hawaii and get your house. That way we go visit you.
Oh yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, Google how much houses are. I heard.
I just Googled it. You can't live in Hawaii on $3,000 a month. FYI, if you were wondering, for $3,000 a month, you cannot live in Hawaii. Just throwing that out there. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, he's going to come out with no debt, so maybe he has a plan. I don't know. So, but yeah, that's really like nursing school in general, even without the Army stuff, would be like very hard to do, and it sounds like you're just knocking it out. So, and then to add on, coming out with nothing, no debt. Like, I know a few people still paying off college debts that are in our age bracket. Like I said before, I'm not double your age, but pretty close. So, but yeah, I mean that's
you're 18, right?
Yeah,
19.
19, what? 38?
36 plus 2, yep, 38.
38.
Google it.
38. I am 40. So I'm Sorry, go ahead. I'm gonna shut up, buddy. People
Jump in.
Who's that talking? Who's that talking?
Neil, they know who you are. You want to speak? Yeah, I actually went into Broadway Hardware to grab my fishing license and grabbed this shirt. And he starts talking about Neil. It's hilarious, but we'll get into that later. We'll do that in a different episode. We won't bring that up. But yeah, I mean, so do you have any words of encouragement for people that are right at where you're at, and kind of like any advice of, like if you did decide to go to Jesus or go to church or go do this is how it's impacted me. I mean, do you have any words of encouragement for people that are kind of going and don't know Jesus? I mean, do you have anything that you could say to those type of people?
I would say definitely as a college student living, faith is very important to your, like, I talk about my worrying, and that kind of helps me a little bit, is knowing that if he didn't want me here, if Jesus didn't want me here, then he's gonna make me another way. And I think another like thing that my mom's told me a lot this year is trust the process. Like my first semester, I was like, call her like crying, like I was like, I don't think this is for me. I see, and I have a lot of friends who went blue collar, after high school, and they're making pretty decent money, and they're buying, 4-wheelers. And my dream is a boat. I want to get a nice boat one day with like a nice truck. So that's my dream. So it's like, it was hard to watch that sometimes, and like, you feel like you're doing wrong by going to school, and you're not really you don't see immediate benefit,
progress or something. Yeah.
So I would just say trust the process and trust that it'll get I wouldn't say it gets easier, but it gets more manageable, and it doesn't feel as such a burden when you first get there, and you're like, it gets better every semester. That's the way I've always been told, is it gets better. The classes get harder, but you also get stronger in the fact that you're able to have better time management. You're able to balance more things, and you're going to adjust to the lifestyle every year that you go. It's going to get a little easier. And just having that in the back of your mind, that it's a process. Like, no one starts off feeling like, oh, this is easy. Like, this is just something, it takes time, and it's a reason. It's a reason. A big tester of it is testing how much you can endure, how much and that's the same thing in nursing school. I've heard a lot is who can withstand the most, who can not give up and keep going the distance. Not necessarily the hardest, but who can endure the most and go through and
do it the right way,
persevere, and kind of like my mom's always told me too is like grit. The word grit is one of the most important things because it's not always the smartest person in college who's successful. It's the person who doesn't give up, who doesn't
Mm-hmm.
throw the towel in, and they're still able to do to work the work like they're gonna work the hardest to be the best. It's not necessarily all about talent because talent doesn't last when talent is not enough when it gets to certain levels. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's about, having the grit and be able to keep pushing forward. And I would say like just trusting that God has you for like a reason for why you're there. And it might not always be the reason you want to be, but that you think it is, but he has a bigger plan behind it. And just trusting that like he's gonna like it's good is gonna come your way. Like
Mm-hmm.
it might see far in the distance. Like that's one of the things I think is kind of like beautiful is like, you think about the Christian story of like how Jesus is born when it's like I guess in America, like Jesus is born in December, like the darkest period where there's no sunlight. Like now sunlight's starting to get darker out later. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's born in the darkest time of year. And like Easter's my favorite time of the year because I see everything as like new, like rebirth. Like trees are starting to grow again, starting to get darker later, and I think of it like that as like when you first like you might see some times in your life where it's dark and it doesn't seem like there's a way out, but there's going to be better days ahead, and I think that's the biggest thing to keep in your head is there's better days ahead, and once you get 1 year of college done, you only got 3 years of school left, and then once another one's done, you only got 2 years, and it starts to feel like, oh, I can last this out. It's not that too
Mm-hmm.
bad, and it will pay off. Like if you make sure you like go for what you want to do, and know that what you're gonna do is gonna benefit you in the end, and just try to do what's right, from the start. Don't try to like push it off, but try to do good and just kind of just trust in God and making him trying to grow with him, because it's not always gonna be perfect. You're not gonna, you might do something. And most people like you might do something bad at college, like not necessarily say it's gonna be all like sunshine and rainbows, but like just learning from it, and that's part of growing up is experiencing kind of life in essence. It's not always good the experience, but sometimes there's things in life you can't learn without the experience of going through it, you know? And I just think that's a very important part of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the truth.
Ooh, amen. Man, that's awesome. Do you have anything else you want to throw out or anything before we end it? Or
I would say, like just kind of, I think it's very, I say in the college aspect, I was saying, like I was talking about how like, oh, is this for me? I think the biggest thing too is if someone who's, upcoming about to graduate high school or things like that is do what you want to do. Like there's
mm-hmm.
no right path. Like going blue collar, going whatever you want to do, whatever it may be. There's no right decision. It's what you want to do that makes it right.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to do what's best for you in the end because it's your life and you're going to be the one you know who benefits or doesn't benefit because of what you choose. And I think that for most people, I think like nowadays, like I know a lot of people like I think you have to be able to just like trust yourself that you're making the right decision because this is the one of the first decisions you're making as a fully like adult is what am I doing with the next step? What am I doing with the
Mm-hmm.
next chapter? And
Mhm.
I just think that that's very crucial when someone's like in this age group is trusting yourself, having
Mm-hmm.
confidence in yourself to know that this is what I want to do, and also putting behind like try to do what you're gonna do in your life. Pick it something that you want to do for the rest of your life that you know you're gonna enjoy. And I think having an impact. That's part of the reason why I wanted to join the army as an officer as well, is because um, officers in the army they're not with the people usually all the time. Like they're like
Mm-hmm.
people like more of like higher up enlisted people. They're the ones who are in charge of like weapons, men, and equipment. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
they're in charge of the actually in the foxhole with the people, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And officers sometimes do like more of the paperwork things and things like that, that side of it. But you can look at it from an officer side as well as like as the this type of officer I want to be in the army is these people who you're in charge of, who you're leading, and they're gonna have families, and you can make their quality of life better by, you know, like I guess kind of like what you add to them, because you can be like, it all starts with me. Like when I'm in that position, it starts with me. The leadership starts from there, and you're able to influence people over a big aspect of it. I want to be able to be the good leader who cares for someone, an officer who cares about their soldiers, who's able to, you know, give them opportunities that they, and I want to be there, like, be like, like when they're saying like, hey sir, like I want to, go to this school, special school. I want to be able to send them from that school because,
Mm-hmm.
they're, they're grinding in and out each day. And, that's my goal. That's my job as an officer, is to take care of your soldiers. That's the number one thing, is being an officer, is caring for your soldiers and making sure that they're, you know, doing good. Like you want to make, like, you obviously you have to have standards, but also like making sure that they're taken care of, that they're getting what they need. And you want to be able to see, them succeed and be able to celebrate those moments with their families, be able to take that home and be able to just watch them grow as well, as a, as a leader in the army, because they're going to be, and that's the backbone of the army, is enlisted, is people who are, they're the ones who get the stuff done. Like the officer side of it is a whole different thing, but they're the people who get the stuff done, and what make up the army is enlisted, and they should be,
The
you know,
boots on the ground.
so they should be the ones who are. That's my big thing as an officer, is treating everyone like, but it's taking care especially of those enlisted soldiers, because they're looking to me as, I'm the one, like kind of like person, like I don't know, I guess like we said, like a father figure, I guess, in the army, I guess, is, like the person who's going to take care of them, who's going to give them, what they need to succeed and do good. And I want to be able to have that impact on their life, and to be able to say that, like as a job, especially, is you want to have good leadership at a job as well, and you
Mm-hmm.
want to be able to have people who they're gonna take care of you, because that will either make or break your unit in the army as well, is having good leadership and having the ability to have that impact, because you're going to be at the job, being an army especially, that's a job, it might be working, it's not like a normal civilian job, you might be there for months, and
Mm-hmm.
being able to have the impact of, making it kind of exciting to go to work, and make it fun, and make it more than just a job, but make it something that, like a brotherhood, I guess you could say, as, being in the army, and, you're supporting and defending the United States. That's the whole point of it, is you're being a protector for the people of the United States, and I think that's a big thing. The care for me is the biggest thing as an officer, though, because I feel like I get I feel good in my heart too, because I feel like that's who I would want in a leader, someone who takes care
Mm-hmm.
of you and who's able to provide what, and kind of just boost morale in general, and make people's lives better, and better quality of lives, in my opinion.
Well, like you were talking about, the blue collar worker, like leaving high school and going straight into a career, a job. I mean, doing the choice, the path that you've chose. I mean, you're gonna have schooling paid for. You're pretty much telling me I want to be a role model. I want to be a leader, and you're literally going to get those opportunities with the path that you've chosen. And like you said, I mean, you pointed it out. You just got to stay dedicated and finish. I mean, you just got to show up.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's awesome, especially for somebody your age to be like, I'm the one. I'm here. I'm ready to do this. I want to do this. I want to do that. That's awesome. I mean, that's truly a blessing, and you've laid it out. Did you plan it that way, kind of in high school, or did you really have to like go back and forth and think, or was the ROTC kind of like you seen that path and was like, I want to do that?
For me, it was JRTC that helped me a lot in high school.
Mm-hmm.
The nursing came a little later, like my senior year. I didn't really know what major I wanted to do to my senior year, and that's a good lesson too. Is like, you don't have to know immediately. Like,
Mm-hmm.
knowing what you want to do, you take a little time to decide your major. It doesn't have to be in your 10th grade year. I know a lot of teachers push that of, you need to know what you do now, but it'll all fall into place. Just trust the process, part of the process. But my Lieutenant Colonel McIntyre, he was big help for me, because he gave me the motive to go and pursue wanted to be an officer, because he was an enlisted. He got up to sergeant in the army. And then he went to Campbell actually and did the Green to Gold program, which is going all, like active duty army, going
Mm-hmm.
to all be an officer. And he did that, and it really motivated me, because being able to, he knew both sides of it. Like, I'm gonna go in just knowing, one side of it, knowing the officer side, but he knew both sides of it, and that makes you even better, more valuable
Mm-hmm.
leader when, like, oh, like enlisted, you've been enlisted, then you're gonna go and take care of these people is a different level of being able to know it. And I wanted to be able to be like that. And, I won't have the enlisted side of it, but I will have the the kind of influence of him, like knowing that like care is like very important and making sure that, you know, choosing the route that's best for you. And he didn't start off going officer, but he gave me a lot of empowered me a lot. Like, you have the tools to be an officer. Like, don't miss out on it. Take these opportunities, and having the scholarship is a huge opportunity because it makes it easier in a way. Like, you could say like that's your job for these next 3 years is just doing Army. Like, you're getting paid for it and you're getting your school paid for it. So that's your job. That is your one job, and it's gonna pay off when you graduate. Like, being able to have a job that you're happy with, that you're able to go with every day and be motivated with, and it's a big thing. But I would say definitely he influenced me a lot in choosing the Army as my path and be an officer, because it's it's a very big thing to be able to have that influence on people and to be able to kind of mentor younger soldiers in a way of seeing how it is, because everyone has a different story of like why they're joining, why are they going to the Army, and it's the same thing for me. Like, I feel like another big thing is like the American dream for people is depends on, like it's different for everyone. Somebody's American dream is is very someone's American dream can be very different than what yours is, and that's okay, because that's what makes America great. Is like you have the freedom to do that. That's the freedom of America. I mean, is you have that's what you way you see it. And he just kind of inspired me to like just he didn't come from he came from a very a poor home. Like, he remember telling me one time that um he would use the oven to heat up the house. Like, that's how they used. Like, they didn't have heat, and so seeing how the Army changed him and made him to where he's living a good life now, and kind of influenced me too, is like like that's the main thing as an officer, is that separates good officers from lesser officers, is the care. Like, to be able to think about your soldiers and make their lives a little easier, because they're going to be going push the limits through, like, too. They're going to be pushed the limits, and to make their lives a little easier is going to help them perform better, and also just kind of live a better life overall.
Yeah, instead of just clocking in, you're actually, as the leader, preparing and getting the people below you geared up for, like, hey, I'm not going to be here forever. I got to eventually move into Hawaii. So, I mean, and just actually building them up instead of just being like, I'm just going to do my work and go home. I mean, that's totally awesome. And you just need to always remember that and keep that up, because that's golden. I mean, because I've had bad leaders and good leaders and everything in between. And when you get somebody that's actually somebody that can motivate you and make you can come to them in confidence, knowing like, hey, I messed up. Like, that's a total game changer in any business, Army, anything. That's just going to be a total game changer if you actually can be the one that they can come to, and actually motivate them to do what you need them to do to be better for them. I mean, build them up. So, but if you ain't got nothing else, we can kind of close it out on that. I did tell Neil I was going to do this right here. We're not sponsored, but shout out to Dusty Phillips and Bang Energy. If you want to sponsor us, just reach out. Contact me or Neil. We're a good contact to talk to. But just remember, 2 people love you. And it's not just 2 people. There's a bunch of people that actually care about you. So if y'all need anything, reach out to us. If you want to be on the podcast, let us know. But thank you so much, Gabe, for coming out. And we will talk to y'all next time. Bye-bye.